Hello and welcome to the safe space. My name is Piwalomzi. Welcome and this is another insert on the safe space. Today I want to do a little story time, my very first story time. I'm actually a little excited. My very first story time on just like a couple of toxic relationships or like toxic parts of relationships that I've had in the past and like things that I've learned from them. Yeah. So let's get started. Actually, you know what, Nat? I have these lashes on and like I don't know how I feel about them with this look because I don't have any foundation on. I just put like a little bit of concealer and stuff and it just feels very powerful. They just feel like I took very dramatic lashes, so it's taking a while for me to get used to it. Yeah, okay, so let's get started. We're gonna start with my very first toxic relationship was my very first relationship. My very first boyfriend. Well, he wasn't necessarily toxic. He was just like a cheating guy, and it's just that my very first kiss happened to be not like very. It was on bath, which was just like and it was in the middle of the field. Okay, I was in grade 7. I was in grade 7 when I had my first kiss, and it was like at the end of the year. And we were, like, it was after culture club at Glenview. I used to go to Glenview, and we used to have this thing called culture club. So after culture club, he came to me and then he was like, "Oh, okay, let's go." We like wanted to check out. It was a check out time, and so we went to the field, like the big field, like which is like right in front of like all the teachers' classes, and then we went like right, and then we walked, took a little lang stroll, and then and he was tall, like tall, dark, and handsome, and we walked to the middle of the field, and then we kissed. I was like, mwah. And like, he had to convince me for like the longest time, and then eventually like I gave in, and then like it was a bar. And yeah, like teachers saw because of where it was, and then like they wanted to tell my parents at parent evening. But then luckily enough, my parents didn't go to that specific parents evening. They sent my cousin, and then he just spoke to me, and then he was like, "What happened?" And like, wada. And then he was like, he's not gonna tell my parents, but like I can't be doing such things. But anyway, this is not like where he was toxic. He was just toxic in that, the relationship became toxic because then people, like teachers, then banned relationships at school because of me and like him. And then they were like asking all the students like who's dating who and stuff. And then people were forced to break up by the school. Like the school was legit forcing people to break up with each other. And then like girls were calling me like a bitch. This was in primary. Like I was just like, and then the teacher started like saying that I'm going to be pregnant by 16 and everything. She was my economics teacher and my arts and culture teacher, and she started saying that I was going to be pregnant at 16, and like in front of like the whole class she'd say that me and my best friend at the time, Nosipo, were going to be pregnant by 16 because we love boys, what. And mind you, this is like my very first boyfriend, my very first kiss. I'm just like And I remember me and my friend made a pact. We were like, we have to make sure we're gonna pass her class, because they said that like everyone who passes, like they're gonna give us chocolates, you're gonna be awarded and everything. We made sure that we were like the highest 2 in like for both of her thingies, or for economics, and then she had to give us a chocolate and stuff. It was like and I mean, I ain't got a baby now, so I mean, like, I don't know what she was talking, but he wasn't toxic, but just like what happened in the relationship made my life feel like it was very hard. From people at school, like friends, and then teachers. But he was the first person to also cheat on me, and he kept posting her on his like profile picture and stuff. And I would ask him, "Who is this?" And I'm like, "Are you cheating on me?" It was like some pretty yellow bone girl. And yeah. And then he told me it's his cousin, and I was young, I believed him until it was too late. And he actually broke up with me because he drove me psycho. You see, I have a little bit of crazy in me. You see, I'm Kosane, and I'm a little crazy. You need to understand, like, I'll be violent sometimes. So basically what happened is when he broke up with me was because Wow, I wasn't recording. Sorry, I changed the angle because I didn't like the lighting from where I was sitting before. It's really hot in Durban, guys. Like, wow, it's hot. But basically what I was saying is, he broke up with me because his cousin basically told me that that girl that was on his profile picture was his girlfriend, and like he was lying to me, wada. And then I flipped a switch, and then like we had an argument, and then he didn't want to see me for like a whole week, and I was like, how, this guy, like, what's happening? And then so one day I called him and I asked him where he was, and then he was like, no, he's at home, he's just chilling with his brother, wada. Then I was like, oh, okay. I was walking to the shops with my sister. I don't know how I convinced my sister to leave me, but she left me, and then I went to his place, guys. Like, I went and I was hollering outside of his house, and like his parents were home. Dude, he came out and was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, go home. Broke up with me the following Monday. Yeah. Then another one, my very next one was late, like some person, like, okay, the reason why I say Shoni was my first boyfriend is because this person we used to date, but like was like he lived in Soweto and stuff, so it was just like mixed dating, honestly speaking. And then I only started like seeing him like after Shoni broke up with me, and like from grade 7 heading into grade 8. And for him, wow, like he was just a douchebag. Like he was an asshole. Like I remember this one time he hurt my feelings. Like I don't remember what he did, but I wrote him like a paragraph just like explaining like what he did and how he hurt my feelings, and you won't believe what this guy said. I just feel like I look oily. Sorry. This nigga said to me he's not going to read my paragraph because it's too long and he doesn't like reading paragraphs. So yeah, that's it. That was what he was saying, that like he wasn't going to read it, and he legit never read it, guys. Like to this day, this nigga, okay, but he can't now. But he never read it. And he once burped in my face, and then he laughed. Like as we were kissing, he burped in my mouth, and then he laughed. But he was like very nice. Like he called me on my birthday, like even like years after we broke up, he would just call even if you weren't talking and just be like, happy birthday. Yeah, I think, yeah, other than like he's like cheating in inconsiderate ways, he was like a good person. See, this is why I'm not wearing a full face of makeup. To see this heat, I only have concealer on and I'm dying. Like, the hell. Anyways, the next toxic relationship, which I think is not one of the most toxic relationships I had, it just was one of the hardest relationships to leave because it was like my first love, is my high school boyfriend. And like we basically were together like throughout the whole of high school. We weren't always dating, but we were together, because I can legit say that like we were always together. Like he was always talking to me as if like we are together, even if we weren't actually dating. Anyways, I'm crazy, guys. So I like went on, like he had one point in our relationship, I don't know when, gave me his Facebook details, and I think he forgot. There was a time when his phone broke, so he relied only on Facebook to communicate with everyone. And then like one day out of nowhere, I just went onto his Facebook. But this is like once things had started going bad in our relationship. Like we had an amazing relationship for I think like about a year, and then from there everything just went to shit. Like it was just downhill and downhill and downhill and downhill, and it's on both sides. Like I'm not acting like the reason why we broke up in the beginning was my fault, and not that like I did anything, but I told someone something that he had like introduced me to smoking and stuff, and that person told the teacher, and then the teacher told him, and then like yeah, it was just bad. Like the teacher was saying that like he's a bad influence on me, and like he's messing me up, and that didn't sit right with him. So yeah, anyways, from there like he just started doing bad stuff, or both of us, to each other. And it was okay. So I went onto his Facebook at some point when like I started like seeing at school that he was messing with other girls, but he was like lying to me about it. I went onto his Facebook when he didn't have the phone and stuff, because I was like, okay, now we'll see what's really happening. And I went onto his Facebook, and lo and behold, I found everything. But I think what hurt most was finding out that he had been cheating on me since the beginning of our relationship, because we had a year of it being so good. Like, it was amazing, you know? And to find out that he had been cheating on me from the beginning, because he said to this person, and he was talking to an old friend, an ex and an old friend, and he was telling her that, nah, you know what, he's changed, wada wada, because that's why he was cheating on her. And he was like, yeah, no, he's changed, he's a new person. And he's like, he's met this girl, and she makes him better, like she makes him want to change for the better, make him be a better person, of which was me at that time, because that's how he'd always speak about me. And he was like, and she's his wife, so I was his wife. And then he'd have a girl, because I'm not allowed to, because I grew up in like a strict home. I wasn't always allowed to go out to parties and stuff. Actually, I wasn't allowed to go to parties and stuff. He was like, yeah, so I can't go to parties and stuff. So then he has a girlfriend that he has a fun time with, like that he goes to parties and stuff with, but she's just a fun time person and I'm the serious person. So just finding out that he had been cheating on me since the beginning really broke my heart, because I at least thought that maybe the fucked up part of the relationship only started after like the breakup, but what we had before was beautiful, and that was what I was always fighting for, what we had before. But yeah, and then in that also I got confirmation that he was like really messing with this girl that he kept in that, and she was like the first girl, we'll call her Mgijimi, and she was like the first girl that he ever started like messing with. And I could see it at school, like he'd always walk around with her, and like, you know, if like you were in Breckenhall, like, you know, it check us, like, you know, it's when you walk around with your girl at break and stuff. And he would say that it's nothing all the time and they're just friends and wada 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 wada. And he only like eventually admitted it like late in the year, like once I had proved it to him and I was like done with him. And he told me that he wasn't talking to her because he liked her, he was talking to her because he was trying to teach someone a lesson, one of her ex-boyfriends, that he mustn't think that he's the hottest shit ever, like, because he really loved that girl and stuff. And I remember crying my eyes out, guys, at break. And my friend told me before break, Primly told me, she was like, friend, I'll see you in history after break and you'll tell me what happened. And I walked into class like, and I was bawling, like I was not okay. I was not okay. And that was just the first of many tears throughout high school, you know. And then from there, like, he just kept messing around with this girl and just kept stringing me along, and I really was just stringing along the whole time. And like, it was painful because I used to go to SIP in the location, and he used to live in the location, and well, he lives in the location. And when I was there, you know, I'd see him and stuff. So basically it was like a thing of he'd see me when I was Elukshin, and then he'd see her at school, you know. So I basically went from being the main and the wife to now being like a side. I went from being a main to being a side, and like almost voluntarily, almost. But yeah, it wasn't fun. It really just wasn't fun, and it hurt a lot. And I also started doing things that, like, in this relationship, because of like how he was cheating, I would do things to try prove that he was cheating. And at the end, I remember the last thing, like one like the last straws ever, was he said, he called me Detective Pigolomzi, because of but I think it's because of the way I'd always try to catch him out. Okay, no, let me not pause it. You know, I'd always try to catch him out, be it with